Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell the truth about silver. Today is Monday the 23rd of August 2021 and we're producing our gold and silver morning update and price forecast. On the weekend we published our weekly update and this morning already we're seeing both gold and silver rise. So let's take a look. Before we take a look at today's headlines, just a very brief reminder, we produced over the weekend, both on Saturday and Sunday, our gold and silver weekly update and forecast, and we've placed links to both of these in the description box below. Please do make reference to these as they will support the daily videos that we're producing each morning. So let's get back over to the news of the day. Welcome to Illuminati Silver. It's Monday, 23rd of August 2021. The sun is already shining brightly on the Illuminati Silver household, and we're looking forward to sitting out in it and reading a book. But before that, we'd better read what's happening in the news today. Main headline: stocks, futures climb on dip buying. Dollar slips, market wrap. We won't go into that, but for cryptocurrency enthusiasts, Bitcoin topping $50,000 stirs forecast of run toward record high. Yes, the record for Bitcoin, $64,000. And now people are predicting it's not only going to hit that again, but surpass it, and considerably. We shall see whether that happens. But for us, with our feet on the ground, we're going to have a look at this. Jerome Powell's policy revolution was blindsided by COVID-19, and something that is really important and why we often state the dollar is going to remain high compared to other currencies. ECB rate hike bets are losing out to still dim inflation outlook. So let's have a quick look at Jerome Powell. Just a few sentences. It seemed like a good idea at the time when Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell rolled out a new modus operandi for running monetary policy at the elite Jackson Hole Economic Symposium a year ago. The economy was just coming out of a pandemic-driven nosedive. That was after a decade of disappointingly slow growth, with inflation stubbornly below target. Powell and his colleagues opted for a radical new strategic framework that Morgan Stanley economist Ellen Zentner says is now embedded in the Fed's DNA. Use super loose monetary policy to try to push unemployment down to levels previously thought unsustainable, and commit to letting inflation overshoot their 2% goal by a bit. For a while. Surely another name for MMT, modern monetary theory, which we actually highlighted well over a year ago and ran a spate of videos on that subject. As policymakers prepare for another Jackson Hole conference, the second straight one Powell will address virtually rather than travelling to Wyoming, the economic picture looks much different, thanks in no small part to a $1.9 trillion front-loaded budget boost from President Joe Biden that caught Fed officials flat-footed. The economy has roared ahead with employers complaining they cannot find enough workers, and inflation has taken off as the unleashing of pent-up demand combined with disruptions to production and shipment schedules to push up the Fed's favourite price gauge by 4%. So it'll be most interesting indeed, to hear what Jerome Powell says at this symposium. Now, ECB rate hike bets are losing out to still dim inflation outlook. Traders have a way to go before they close the gap between their lofty rate hike bets and the muted outlook for inflation in the euro area. The market is now pricing in a 10 basis point increase to the European Central Bank's deposit rate in around 3 years' time. Just a third of what was expected in May. But forward-looking gauges show consumer price gains will still fall short of the ECB's target by then, which suggests expectations for any tightening will have to be pushed back even further. So what is that telling us? It's saying loose monetary policy as far as the European economic area is concerned, or the European Union is concerned, to use the more modern parlance, it's going to be loose. How do you think the euro will then fare against the dollar? And do you see Fed Chair Jerome Powell loosening his policy even further when the government is spending so much money? Let's wait and see. We've said we think the dollar, regardless of what you think of its purchasing power over time, is the best of a bad bunch of currencies. And we expect further strengthening. Now, BBC News. Travel test firms warned over misleading prices. This is in the UK now. Poorer towns have the most betting shops. Study. Why should we be surprised? Generally speaking, poorer areas, people are dependent on gambling and lotteries and betting shops as a way to make up their financial deficit. Chip giant hit by Beijing crackdown on business. The share listing of BYD Semiconductors been suspended due to a regulatory investigation. US news. Storm Henry makes landfall at Rhode Island. Biden warns lives could be lost in Kabul airlift. Biden's week of blame. So we know what the main headlines in the US are, and it's to do, to some degree, with the mismanagement of the withdrawal. Oh, our friend Tony Blair is getting involved as well. Let's have a look at the financials. Dollar index down slightly at 93.38. Oil prices up this morning by $1. Of course, with the dollar falling, you're going to get that. But of course, bearing in mind oil prices really did fall significantly in the last week or two. So we have Brent crude at 66 and WTI crude at 63. Stocks, well, we reported on the weekend what was happening in America, where most of the exchanges were up on the day. That was Friday, but broadly down on the week, but not significantly so. Asian markets, though, overnight, broadly up, almost 2%. And although the UK and European markets have only been up or open for a short time, then too are up between 0.25% and 0.5%. Economic news this morning, we have the market manufacturing PMI and the services PMI flash and the existing home sales. The first two for August, the second for July. Will be quite important, depending, of course, of how these relate to the previous month's figures. Let's take a look at gold. It was up earlier. It's still up, but crawling back a little. Gold is $1,785. It actually opened down, slipped up and then fell, but now is back up again. Silver. We're looking at silver, and I have to keep refreshing the page because this was pulled up a while ago. Silver's doing much better. Silver's up over 1%. Just literally 20 minutes ago is up 18 cents. It's now up 27. So we now have silver 23.32. Anyone doing day trading, that will have been quite a nice gain. Some traders work on 1% and quite happy to do so in a day. Cryptocurrencies rising this morning. The global crypto market has now risen to 2.16 trillion. Remember, we've said we expect it to be 2.5, maybe even 3 trillion well before the end of the year, and could even be the case by the end of September. But we're being a little bit more cautious. Bitcoin is up. It's hit $50,000 as you can see on the screen. Ethereum 333 and Cardano, our favorite, rising again exponentially today, up 8%, up 31% over the week. That's it for now. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, press the bell sign. Have a great day. Our apologies for a video we promised we would put out yesterday. We weren't able to do it as we're preparing for a radio program that we're doing, but not in capacity of Illuminati Silver. So I really did not, unfortunately, have the time to produce that video, but I will get it out in the next day or so. Thank you once again. Speak to you soon. Have a great day. Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.